Their public displays of affection and seemingly mutual career support made them seem like the perfect match. However, recent revelations suggest their relationship might have started under less than ideal circumstances.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds hooked up when Ryan Reynolds was still married to Scarlett Johansson.
Then I walked out of that room and I was just like, I wanted to throw up. I just felt so awful.
Now that Blake Lively's past has come back to haunt her, fans are reminded of what she did to Scarlett Johansson and how she stole Ryan Reynolds from her on set of Green Lantern. Scarlett said that Blake purposely seduced her husband, all while fully aware that they were once happily married. Blake Lively is caught up in a messy situation, so let's get into it. Now that everyone's talking about Blake Lively, I've gotten some requests to look into her dating history, which is pretty complicated and messy. Blake Lively has recently found herself at the center of media attention, not only due to her role in the film It Ends With Us, but also because of the controversies that have surrounded its promotion. Keep in mind, she's in a big-time feud with Justin Baldoni, which hasn't really played in her favor, especially ever since Justin has hired that PR crisis agency that has been dragging Blake. I mean, we can't forget about that interview where she told the reporter that her bump looked nice as well, which was just so cringe and hard to watch.
Talk about awkward.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
It made me want to quit my job. I felt really horrible afterwards.
Journalist Kirsty Flaw was stunned when Blake Lively and her co-star Parker Posey seemed to ignore her during the 2016 interview promoting the Woody Allen movie Cafe Society. What followed was this: the actresses chatting with each other as if nobody else was in the room.
The father with his tank top in bed.
It's so good. It goes on for a full minute before Kirsty can ask another question. You can see how uncomfortable she looks.
Then I walked out of that room and I was just like, I wanted to throw up. I just felt so awful.
It also doesn't help that this movie has such a serious theme to it, and Blake doesn't get it. She doesn't grasp the point, and the way that she's answering in these interviews seems so dismissive.
So if someone understands the themes of this movie, comes across you in public, and they want to really talk to you, what's the best way for them to be able to talk to you about this? How would you recommend they go about it?
Like asking for like my address or my phone number or like my location share. Or I could just location share you and then we could
Now, amid these controversies, it's important to remember that Blake Lively's personal life, particularly her dating history, has often been a vocal point of media interest. So it's not new that Blake has shared her relationships with the public, because it seems like that's part of her motive when going into a relationship, and let me explain why. Now, her most least famous boyfriend is actually Kelly Blades. I'm sorry, Kelly. Before she shot to fame with her portrayal of Serena in Gossip Girl in 2007, she was in a relationship with Kelly Blatz. He was an actor as well, and they co-starred in the 2006 slasher film Simon Says. Blake claims that Kelly was the first guy she had ever dated. She was 17 in 2004. So you have to remember that Blake has been in the industry for a very long time. Most of her life, she's been famous. Let me quickly introduce to you guys who Blake Lively is and where she comes from before we get into what happened to Kelly. Blake Lively comes from a Nepo family, which means that she's got connections in the industry. Her father, Ernie Lively, was an actor and a director. Her mother, Elaine, was a talent scout. It also looks like Blake's siblings, including her sister, Robin Lively, are also actors. So realistically, she comes from kind of like a Drew Barrymore background, but Drew Barrymore had a lot more trauma, it appears. I mean, we don't know what Blake has gone through, but she had it pretty easy getting into the industry. Blake actually knew Kelly most of her life. They were childhood friends and attended Burbank High School together. She actually had a crush on him back in high school for a while, and they ended up dating for 3 years until her career started to take off. Which brings us to Penn Badgley, which I completely forgot they were an item. Blake fell for her Gossip Girl co-star, Penn. They struck up a relationship, but the public was initially unaware. That December 2007, the two were seen getting some holiday shopping done, sparking dating rumors. And it looks like it was a secret at the time, because the source said that they knew a friend of the family, and that's how they got the information nobody's supposed to know about their romance. The co-stars sought to keep their relationship away from prying eyes, partly because they feared Gossip Girl producers might have a problem with it, which usually goes the opposite way. They want to, push it even further and get people talking about the show. Blake said, "We were afraid of how our personal lives overlapping our work life could be perceived by our bosses." They later came to realize that they had zero problems with it, and they thought it was good for the show, which is what I would think. And sometimes these sneaky ass producers and gross executives will set up these people to date and to have a relationship just to get people into the show and believing that it's somewhat real. It's like, oh, Vanessa Hudgens, Zac Efron, oh, we think High School Musical is real because we're seeing them translate into real life. Now, they confirmed their relationship in 2008, but only dated 2 years. They broke up in 2010, but the CW hit show didn't end its run until 2012, though it seems like the actors were able to separate their personal and professional roles, so they handled it professionally. An executive producer said that they kept their breakup hidden from the crew so that nobody knew that they had broken up. I mean, the bosses were shocked to learn they had split because they had been getting along so well. Now, after Penn, there was Leo. Leonardo DiCaprio, such a creepazoid. I'm sorry, I'm not a fan. I mean, if this man truly can only date someone until they're 25 years old and then drop them off, he's got a problem. A few months after Penn and Blake had broken up, she started dating none other than Leonardo DiCaprio. They were first linked in May 2011 when they were seen living their best yacht life. Ooh, you guys know what yachting means. They were also seen strolling through Hotel, I'm not even gonna try to say that, Du Cap Eden Rock. Actually, it's pretty good. Hotel Du Cap Eden Rock in Antibes. Wow, I have no idea where these places are. I'm sure they're so beautiful. I could shed a tear. I want to go. It looks like they had been introduced by a director named Baz. Once again, it was work that brought Blake's new romance into her life because it was a dinner-related business that then led to this relationship. Now, their relationship didn't last more than a year. By October, they had ended their relationship, their romance. Maybe they had some problems while he was filming The Great Gatsby because she went to go and be with him in Australia. Maybe he was stressed. I don't know what happened. Now, Ryan Gosling was someone on her roster in 2010. They met through work. They starred in the superhero movie Green Lantern, but didn't date at that time. Actually, when they were filming the Green Lantern, they were both in other relationships. Blake was dating Penn, and Ryan Reynolds was married to Scarlett Johansson. Let's get into some of the evidence. So we've got this. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds cheated with each other on Green Lantern set, journalist claims now in a deleted tweet. They starred in the Green Lantern, which filmed back in March through August 2010 in Louisiana. Blake was dating Penn until November 2010, and Ryan was with Scarlett until December 2010. Ryan and Blake didn't officially become a couple until sometime late 2011. Now, October 27th, Blake and Penn break up, but they are on good terms. They remain friends, which is great. We love a good civil breakup. But by December 14th, 2010, Ryan and Scarlett divorced. They released a statement: "After long and careful consideration on both our parts, we decided to end our marriage. While privacy isn't expected, it's certainly appreciated." I like how they are fully aware that everyone's going to be digging into all of their business. Now, reporter Kat Marno posted on Twitter that Ryan and Blake had an affair with each other on set while he was married to Scarlett and she was dating Penn. She said that she was told this by a beauty editor and that Us magazine was going to publish the story until Ryan and Blake's teams got involved. Of course, she deleted the tweet because I'm pretty sure their lawyers then went after her. There were rumors of cheating. I mean, the National Enquirer reported that Scarlett was incredibly bitter about it. In a way, Scarlett feels like Blake actually stole Ryan away from her because it was when he started shooting Green Lantern with Blake in 2010 that everything fell apart, which I've said this before and I will say it again. If I ever date an actor and they have to go to a movie, I am going to be in that, on that set. I'm going to be in that hotel room at night. Like, there's not going to be any late dinners, with your co-star that you're playing a romantic comedy with or whatever it is. Yeah, I'm not buying it. I think it's just like these actors are almost set up to fall in love, especially when they have to like get into these roles. And I don't even know what Green Lantern's about. It doesn't sound like it's a romantic movie. It sounds like a hero type of movie, but like still, like there's some components of being around each other for so long, and Scarlett's pissed over it. Thank God she moved on. There are also claims that Scarlett allegedly thought that Blake intentionally set out to seduce Ryan at the time, even after knowing that he was married. And there are a lot of people who look back on Blake and Ryan's timeline, and it leaves a bad taste in our mouths. I mean, looking at what he did to Scarlett, he did her dirty. A lot of people actually say in support of Scarlett that she had dodged a bullet. One person wrote, "I vividly remember being at the Green Lantern panel at WonderCon, thinking Blake and Ryan were too flirty, only to hear that he was divorcing Scarlett like months later. So this tracks." I've got a clip of this panel moment, so let's take a look together.
Why are you owing? I'm disappointing everyone. Say something funny.
That's tough, you know. But apparently, no, it's hard as a TV show.
I should have given the real answer what it was like to work.
I'm ready to hear it. I think they are too.
It's giving flirty. Although there are rumors of cheating, they are adamant that they did not have an affair, that actually they were friends, and in fall 2011, they went on a double date. Actually, Blake was going on a date with one of Ryan's friends, I believe, and he was going on a date with another woman, and it was awkward, I guess, for them two because they had chemistry. Here's a clip of Ryan talking about how it all went down.
It was funny because for about a year after Green Lantern had come and gone, all that stuff, and we were both single, we went on a double date with, she was on a date with another guy and I was on a date with another girl, and that was the most awkward date for their respective part because we were just like fireworks coming across the...
Went well for him. There were no fireworks for me. No. No.
Wait, that sounds so bad. Like, not fireworks for her. Okay. Wow. She's always that type that has to like demean someone else. You know, like it's always like that's her humor, which is I don't know, not my favorite.
No, yeah, you know, we were such good friends for so long, and we got to know, when we both got to know each other, we got to know each other as friends. So when we were both single, we were still trying to find each other's, oh, who would be good for you? You know, we'd sit around being like, oh, do you know anyone? And it didn't click for, I mean, a good year and a half of like, oh, hey, wait, hold on. We could date.
For some reason, I'm not buying this story that they were going back and forth for a year and a half. Like, who should we date? And then they ended up just like getting on with each other. I mean, I just don't know who, like these grown adults who are very busy actors, like, are they like texting like all the time, like trying to figure it out? It sounds like a story they cooked up. And we have no idea who the double date was with. Like that story could literally, like now that I have like people who work in PR agencies, everything's like cooked up. Like I know friends who like work with celebrities and they try to push these fake stories, and this totally sounds like it could be one. Like, do we have any other witnesses of this? I mean, not that I really care, but I just, when I read these stories, sometimes I'm like, that's a great PR story they could both stick to. Like even the way she responded, I don't know if there were fireworks. Like it should have been like like something in her mind ticked off, like oh yeah, like we had this like double date. It was so awkward. It was so weird. Like you wouldn't believe it. Her demeanor kind of shut it off, like, oh, that story. By 2012, the couple were married. They had a small secret ceremony. When Ryan first saw her, his face broke into a huge smile that crinkled his eyes, a source told People. They just stared at each other with absolute love. Their faces were lit up with the candlelight, and it looked like something out of a romance movie. But let's talk about where this wedding was held. The couple have since apologized for holding their event at Boone Hall in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Boone Hall is a former plantation, and wedding on one is generally viewed as distasteful and offensive given the site's history. Boone Hall was an active plantation that relied on slave labor. It featured 9 preserved slave cabins referred to as Slave Street. It's a dark part of our history, something really disturbing. Growing up in Virginia, I learned a lot about the history of those areas. I think that you know, I feel like state history is kind of different than like the complete United States, so you learn a lot more about those things. And when I saw that, I had hives. I was like, this is so gross. Like, why would she pick this? And like very much knowingly picking a site that's known as Slave Street.
Ryan Reynolds calls his and Blake Lively's plantation wedding a giant mistake. It's been almost 8 years since Blake and Ryan tied the knot, but in a new interview with Fast Company, the 43-year-old actor looks back at their 2012 wedding and opens up about his regrets over having it at Boone Hall, a former slave plantation in South Carolina.
Ryan said, "We're sorry for this, and it's impossible to reconcile it." They claim they saw this as a wedding venue on Pinterest. Seriously, these two mega celebrities. He said it was a giant effing mistake. It doesn't mean you won't F up again, but repatterning and challenging lifelong social conditioning is a job that doesn't end. So, yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, it reminds me of, like, who was that one person who got married and they played clips of, like, homeless people wishing them, like, a good wedding? I can't remember who it was. I feel like it wasn't Ben Affleck, was it? Who was that? Comment below, guys. I know we've talked about that before on the channel. Who was the couple who played like video clips and their friend went out to the street on like Skid Row and paid like $20 or whatever to people to like wish them a happy wedding, along those lines? Now, in December 2014, Blake gave birth to their daughter James, and in 2016 their second child was born. Now, by 2019 they welcomed their third child, which is named Betty, but their name was not revealed for quite some time until it appeared on their friend Taylor Swift's album Folklore, which is kind of a cool way to reveal your baby's name, I must admit. And it seems like Ryan likes being a dad. He said he likes being a girl dad. "I try to be as present as possible. I shoot movies and my wife shoots movies, so we travel all over the place, so we all just go together." Which honestly sounds like the dream life if you could just bring the whole family to wherever you're gonna be. It's like kind of taking a little vacation. Like, imagine if they're shooting somewhere cool. By February 2023, their fourth baby had arrived. Now, they kept the baby's name private for some time, but they actually revealed on stage at a premiere that their child's name is Olin, which they actually have very unique names besides Betty and James. The other one's like Inns or something. So Olin is the name.
I want to thank my kids, James, Inez, Betty, Olin, who are here.
Now, during Blake's downfall, it seems like Ryan is trying to stay supportive. It's all he can really do because their reputation is very tied up together. They work together a lot, and yeah. And they worked together on that Green Lantern set where it looks like they probably hooked up in a hotel room and kept it under wraps for some time until they realized that they liked each other. I'm not buying it, but I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I actually have a letter I can open. Should we go ahead and open it? I've got some P.O. Box letters coming my way, but this one I found, and actually it was sent to me, like, I don't know when it was sent. It was a while ago, so I'm really sorry. I just like found it and I was so happy to find it because I was like, yes. When I moved around, it was difficult to keep track of everything, so I'm like, finally found this. So whoever sent it to me, let's go ahead and see. Right off the bat, we have some tea, we have some April showers, bring May flowers. Wait, was this back in April? It's not 2023, right? Here are some stickers. Okay, I really am interested to see what date like this was actually sent to me on. Hi, Sloan. I'm pretty sure this is not your name, but this is the one I know. My name is Sloan. It's Michael Sloan Hooks. I hope this letter finds you well, Sloan, and I'm so sorry you had to go through so many of the things that you've shared online. This is actually a very personal letter, so I'm going to keep some of this private. You guys are so sweet, though. I like literally can't. So you're 28 years old, and your name is Roxanne from, it looks like Montreal, which I really want to go and visit Montreal, guys. Like, leave some recommendations below. Should I go to Canada? And when should I go to Canada? Also, my birthday's in December. I really want to go somewhere for that. But oh, this is so sweet. It makes me want to tear up because you're talking about some of the more personal moments we've had on this channel, which sometimes can be triggering, you know? Like, it's nice to be vulnerable, but it's also scary. But also, hey, back to December. That's when my birthday is. Where do I travel in the world? Like, where is the weather good in December? Like Australia? But thank you so much, Roxanne. I love these stickers too. They're so like chic. Like little cats. And this one I love because I'm like such a ocean type person. Or these kind of like ocean birds. And like the texture is really cute. So thank you so much. And I'll see you guys in a new video soon. Bye, guys.